In this video, I'm going to give you my highly subjective, controversial, and probably just plain wrong 10 tips for being a successful freelance motion designer. Hi, I'm Adam Bennett. This is The Video Shop. I realised that I've been freelance for exactly 10 years this month.
10 years!
So I thought it'd be interesting to see if I've learned even one thing a year. Oh, and stay tuned to the end where I'll give you my hidden secrets of freelancing, which no one will tell you. God, that sounded clickbaity. F it, let's get started.
Shut up, listen, and learn.
Tip 1. Don't let yourself get exploited. This might seem like a bit of a downer to start off with, but it's actually the reason that I'm creating this list. A couple of years ago, an ex-student reached out to me. We'll call him Bob.
Call me Bob.
He was Trust the Eyeballs animated music video. One of those lyric videos with no budget, probably a tenth of what it should have been. So he's diligently working away, trying to get things done, sending it to the client's not happy, blah, blah, blah.
No! No, 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 no! No, 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 no!
The client will call him Buddy. No, a bad buddy, not a nice buddy. Actually, that's probably not true. I'm sure he was a nice guy. He was just taking the piss and probably thought all his Christmases had come at once when he got someone to agree to his fairy tale budget. So Bob was diligently killing himself, working all hours and getting more and more stressed. I thought it's probably only a matter of time before I'm talking him off a ledge. So eventually I spoke to Buddy on his behalf and stepped in, sort of acted as producer, and we handed over the project file so that Buddy would f off. Why am I telling you this? If you're an inexperienced freelancer and you're dealing directly with a client, you don't have a producer. So you've got to know budgets and timeframes. And if you don't, you're leaving yourself open to a situation like this where you're working on a project and the budget isn't there and you're going to get despondent and the client's not going to be happy and it's just going to be a nightmare.
Who do you think you are, you snot-faced little punk?
But if you're inexperienced and you don't know about budgets and timeframes, how do you know which projects are worth taking on? So that brings us to tip 2. Find a mentor. Full disclosure, I actually never had a mentor, but it took me about 5 years to pluck up the courage to go freelance in the first place. By that time, I was head of motion design and managing other designers.
Shut up, listen, and learn.
And hiring freelancers. So I had industry experience. If you're new to the industry, try to find someone whose opinion you trust, who you can go to for advice until you found your feet. If you can't find a specific mentor, there's plenty of channels out there, Slack and Discord channels, and Adobe and Creative Cow sites. Loads of people with more knowledge and experience than me who'd be happy to help you, so you can always post a question and ask them. Just be aware that these people have lives and jobs of their own, so don't rock up and ask them to budget a whole animation for you, or ask them how to export out of After Effects. Do some basic research yourself. Chances are you won't just end up getting advice, you'll be building up a small network of contacts, friends, drinking buddies. More on this later anyway. The contacts, not the drinking. Tip 3. Don't be afraid to talk money. For this tip, I'm going to refer you to someone who doesn't actually have a piggy bank still. She's a fellow Brit, Hayley Aikins. She's got a whole brand dedicated to the business of motion design. I'll link to her website below. So rather than give you generalised advice about when to raise your day rate or whether you should ask for money up front, I just say that you can't be shy about talking about money. When you're freelance, you can't avoid the money side of things. You have to balance being a creative with being a business person. So that involves knowing your worth and knowing how much you should charge. And that's going to depend on your experience and skills. Some of you may be watching this thinking, if you're new, there's only so much you can charge as a day rate. Well, guess what? I have a tip for that. Tip 4, get quicker. It's a unique time right now. Most companies are either embracing or being forced to embrace at least some kind of work from home hybrid. As a result, remote working is more common than it's ever been in motion design. So if you're working from home, that allows the possibility of double booking yourself or even triple booking yourself or 1.5 times book yourself. You get the idea. But you have to be good and you have to be quick. Now, before people start screaming at me, I would absolutely say proceed with caution. Be very sure that you can manage multiple projects and clients. Weigh up the projects. Are you prepared to pull a late night if timings don't quite work out, or an all-nighter? You don't want clashing deadlines. If you've got a client that's going to be asking for hourly updates, then you probably should be trying this. You should also sag that client. This isn't just about remote working though. Before I went freelance, I was always paranoid about going into an agency and not knowing what I was going to be given and how many projects I'd have to do and how quickly I'd be expected to work. I've done some gigs where you get thrown 4 or 5 small jobs in a single day. If you're quick, there's less chance of drowning and more chance of being invited back. One of the things I do when I'm teaching is timed exercises for the students. They think it's just to torture them, which it partially is because I'm a proper bastard, but it's mainly to get them in the habit of being able to work in vastly different time frames and more quickly, and also budget their time no matter how long they have on a project. Which brings us neatly to tip 5, manage your time. Actually, I don't have any insight for this. I spent half my waking life watching film-related YouTube videos. Okay, revised tip number 5. You can start with just one client. One of the main things stopping me going freelance for a while was a pretty common one. What if I can't find work, or if the work dries up? And you find yourself tap dancing for beer money for an eccentric millionaire and footage for you leaks on the internet and your mum sees it and she says, "See, I told you you should have become a doctor." If you're watching this and you currently work full time and you're thinking the same thing, I started with just one client. People move companies, so one client can easily turn into 2 or more. But even with one client, depending on how much work they give you, I think it's absolutely possible to start freelancing with just one regular client. There's also the option of signing up with a recruitment agency, so you're not shouldering the burden of having to find all your work. I should give a shout out to the crewing company here in London, who as well as throwing a good party, still regularly email me jobs, despite me not having accepted one in over 2 years. They did not sponsor this message. Also, the more work that you spread, the more work you'll get back, which brings us to tip 6. Be a mensch.
Be a mensch.
This is about giving back and being generous with your peers. Remember the context that you'll be getting from tip 2. It was literally 5 minutes ago. If you're not a dick, you'll be steadily building up a network of friends and colleagues who might have work for you, and you also might have work you can throw their way. I think maybe a third of all the work that I've got has been from friends referring me. Don't forget them, check in with them, and bloody make sure you throw work their way. Don't be one of these freelancers who only takes and never gives. If you're professional and reliable, there's enough work to go around. Speaking of which, tip 7, observe minimum standards of professionalism. So here's what should be the bare minimum. Have your shit together. Tidy project files and folder structure. Try not to make mistakes, but if you do, and you will, own up to them and apologise.
I'm sorry about that.
Be honest with clients about what you can and can't do, even if that means turning down work. They will thank you for it.
Thank you for your honesty. Now f*** off and die.
Have good communication skills. If you're not sure whether you do or not, get chatting to people online. They'll almost definitely point out if you don't.
You have poor social skills. You have a problem.
Tip 8. Relax. Remember earlier when I stealth bragged about never having to look for work? That doesn't mean that I haven't had quiet periods. Not huge ones, the odd week or 2 here and there.
2 weeks!
I just didn't look for work. I used the time to learn new software, create personal work. That's a f***ing lie, I went to the cinema. But I could have done. Part of being freelance is not panicking about the natural ebb and flow of work.
I suck.
Obviously this is a lot easier to do when you've got a bit of buffer in your company bank account, but I'm assuming that this is somewhat common sense. The point is you can change your mindset about what downtime means to you and relax rather than stress about it. So rather than thinking, shit, I don't have any client emails, I need to start hitting up a load of people on LinkedIn, why not just dig through some old project files to see if there's anything you can flog on Envato. Okay, I'm not going to start wanging on about passive income here, mainly because I don't earn any. And don't worry, I'm certainly not going to start wanging on about NFTs. Tip 9. If you're not sure, don't commit. If you're not sure whether you're capable of doing something, or you don't know if you've got the time to commit to a project, don't do it. Going into something half-heartedly is a recipe for disaster. Clients hate feeling like you're phoning it in. You won't be giving your best, and there's a good chance that mistakes will creep in. No good can come of it. Equally, if you're getting a bad vibe from a client for whatever reason, spider senses tingling, walk away. Tip 10. Identify what success means to you. I know, you're supposed to be giving me answers, not making me think. This should probably be number 1, but I wanted to start with an anecdote. Success is subjective. I know students who have wanted to simply know how to earn a living making motion design, so for them that's success. Some people want to make the most money possible, in which case they should probably reach out to this guy. For others it's all about the work, and becoming the most creative that they can be. Whatever your goal, if it's clear in your mind, there's a good chance that you'll be consciously taking steps and making decisions in your career towards that goal. Obviously it may change over time, and that's fine. Bonus clickbait tip. The not remotely hidden secrets of freelancing which no one apart from me will tell you. You don't need to be a rock star. You can do really well just by being reliable and not a dick. And that's it. My highly subjective, controversial and probably just plain wrong 10 tips for being a successful freelance motion designer. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.